Hello everyone, and welcome to another Jank Tank, a weekly series where I build a questionable deck and throw it against the constructed ladder. This week we have an Offspring's Revenge deck. It is part Cycling and part Reanimator. So our goal is to win by resolving an Offspring's Revenge, and once we play that, at the start of our combat we're going to bring a red, white, or black creature from our graveyard back to play, but it's only going to be a 1/1. So we were looking for some reanimator targets that were expensive, but not because they were a big body. And the two I picked out for this are Lotleth Giant. When it comes into play, it's going to deal a damage to each opponent for each creature in my graveyard, and Drakuseth. When he attacks, he deals 4 damage to something and 3 damage to 2 other things. So it doesn't really matter how big Drakuseth is, he has a really big board impact the moment that he comes into play, and Offspring's Revenge gives him haste, so he gets to swing pretty much right away. He's just a 1/1 in the air, but being able to burn multiple targets can be pretty strong. It's not necessarily game-ending, though, so the Lotleth Giants are in here to zap the opponent for quite a bit of damage. Usually it's going to be about 8 points of damage, but you can get it higher depending on how lucky you are with your milling. So the rest of the deck is focused on putting creatures into our discard pile and surviving until we can put an Offspring's Revenge into play. Cycling works pretty well for this because we can put creatures in the discard pile while digging for Offspring's Revenge. And then we've got Mire Triton for some Death Touch, life gain, and putting stuff in the discard pile. And Venomous Hierophant's basically a big Mire Triton. It's pretty good at blocking on the turn that it comes down, and it puts more stuff into your discard pile. Timurit Calls the Dead is a little anti-synergistic with this, so you might dig for a better inclusion here at this slot. I'm still tinkering around with it, but you usually net creature cards every time you resolve a Timurit. It's going to mill you 3, and then you take an enchantment or creature from your discard pile and exile it to get a zombie. It just gives you some extra milling. If you can find a Timurit Calls the Dead with it, then you can get rid of that and not lose any creatures from your discard pile count. And sometimes I'll get an Offspring's Revenge out as well with it. If it mills an Offspring's Revenge, that's unfortunate, but you can exile it for the zombies. And then it scries at the end, which can help you dig for whatever you need to reanimate or put in the discard pile. Drakuseth and Lotleth are a little awkward if they end up in your hand, so I put in Rixamati Reveler. If you have a Drakuseth in your opening hand, you can put Reveler to discard it and draw a new card. This spot is a little flexible, but I think it's pretty good, and it's not only a creature with the discard effect, so better than like Cathartic Reunion, but it also is a decent blocker. So it'll hold down the fort. We got the Stinger for a little bit of extra damage too, but also just a cheap cycler. This deck has trouble against some aggressive decks. We do have a pretty low curve here of creatures that we can throw in front of early attackers, but they can overwhelm us, and if we're using these to block with, then we're not digging for Offspring's Revenge. So it's a little difficult, especially if they have burn to remove blockers. And it also has a lot of trouble with flyers. Primarily our defense is either chump blockers with the Rescuer, Mire Triton, and Venomous Hierophants to Death Touch. And if they're flying, then we can't really do that. There's not a great solution other than to just hope that you can Murderous Rider the big threats for it. This deck definitely has weak matchups, and I'm going to go ahead and say right now that it's not a very good deck, so we're not expecting to win very many games today. I'll be happy if I get one. This deck doesn't feel fundamentally different in gameplay from the Zenith Flare Cycling deck, and the Zenith Flare deck is a lot more consistent than this is. So if you're looking to win games, you probably just want to play the Zenith Flare deck. But if you want to reanimate stuff with Offspring's Revenge, it can be fun to just throw out a Drakuseth on turn 5. Okay, had to go get the update real quick, but we're back. And we're going to aim to win one game. Just want one. One cheap, hasty little baby Drakuseth. So we've got some lands and some blockers. This could turn out okay, but we still need to find our Offspring's Revenge. But we should fill up the graveyard pretty quickly, so that could be fine. Looks like we're playing against a cycling deck, so we're actually just gonna lose. That's how that goes. Oh, Ominous Seas. Our deck's actually not bad against Ominous Seas, and I say that because we have a lot of Death Touchers. They can make 8/8s if they want, but it's not going to really get them that far. I'm gonna cycle this Valiant Rescuer, I think. Well, it depends on what he does. If he doesn't have a blocker, I might as well throw out the Rescuer instead of cycling it. Looks like he's just going full in on the cycling, so Rescuer probably will actually be able to pull its weight. I would like to see some more lands in Offspring, though. I'm gonna need to find something to discard my hands, too. Well, let's just throw out some board pressure and see what he does. I'm guessing he's gonna put a land out and then, like, Zenith Flare one of my attackers, since this seems to be cycling with a different win condition. I guess they didn't want to rely just on Zenith Flare, so they tossed the Ominous Seas in. Okay, so we're not looking at Omen of the Sun for blockers. Maybe he's looking for his own Valiant Rescuer. He's got a lot already in the bin. I mean, I guess if he's got 2 more Cyclers, then I could just run into a Kraken. But he did not. So let's take our 5 damage. Play the Triome. And pulled up Murderous Rider for his Kraken, I guess. If he goes to Zenith Flare one of my creatures, I guess I could Zenith Flare my own creature to get to avoid the lifelink. I don't know if that's good. I don't think with a Kraken in play that's good. Alright. Looks like no Zenith Flare this turn. He's gotta have something going on. These are all cycling, right? Yeah, there's 2 Fabled Passage in here, so he's at 10. One more cycle. Alright, I got it. This is the height of interactivity, guys. That extra mana doesn't really get me anywhere right now. Let's see. So, if I murder his Ominous Seas, then I don't get very far. I get in for 5. He gets a Kraken. He loses the Kraken. Again for 5. He'll get another Kraken next turn, then I won't be able to finish him off without a Lotleth Giant or something. The Zenith Flare is the problem, because that's going to pump him into a really high range. I'm going to go get in for 2. I want to see if he's going to block the Triton. I don't know if that's a trade he's really willing to make. Doesn't seem like it. Kind of want to just do the Hierophant. Shatter. I think Rescuer plus Murderous Rider is the play here. Got 5 in my graveyard. Sure. Just play the Rescuer for the body. He'll make a Kraken and we can murder it. He doesn't want to make the Kraken. Now he gets 2 Kraken. Oh, I'm glad I went for the blocker then. This is super exciting. I love playing against decks that just cycle a bunch of cards then one-shot you. Yeah, unfortunately, all the life gain makes this pretty impossible. We'd need him to have not found any other Zenith players for the rest of the game. And, seems likely that he can just cast one next turn. Alright, I need the blocker. Yeah. The Rixmati could have worked. Right, is he just gonna Zenith Flare me? Standard's really terrible. I'm pretty much done with this format. I think Zenith Flare decks are really boring. Probably worth throwing in Graveyard Hate in your standard decks. I would recommend it. They're good against Lurrus as well. And if it's instant speed, then you can deal with recurring Elspeth Conquers Death as well. Just no reason not to run it. There's so much stuff interacting with the graveyard right now, including Groxa. A lot of good stuff. Just really boring to play Zenith Flare. Then again, I say that about Agent of Treachery too. It is. You get to 7 mana and you're like, okay, we'll take all your things. I think the big problem with trying to use Lotleth Giant in this deck is that you really want more stuff like Memory Leak in it to pick apart their hands and play a little more defensively, but he really requires you to have a lot of creatures in your graveyard. And that limits your options for how you can build this sort of deck. Okay. I'm gonna throw out a Flourishing Fox. And later I'll cycle the Stinger onto it. The Fox might just get shocked, that's okay. This guy is always a danger sign. Usually it means that they are going to put like all that glitters on it. But we're fine to attack here. He won't block. Yeah. And then I'll just throw out a Mire Triton. Yeah. Definitely all the glitters deck. way too many ways in our hand to deal with this. So let's cycle. Oh, now it has vigilance, I see. Well. So he probably has a pump spell. Not much we can do about it if he does. Let's see. Play the Triumphs so we don't have another drop. Okay, we're just gonna take some more damage. And let's see. I think I just need to cycle this. Murderous Rider is the card that I really need here. And we don't get it. I can get in for some damage. I don't think I want to trade with his... Oh, I can't get in for some damage. Oh, he didn't trust it. Good old bluff. I don't think he feels like he needs to. Alright, so we just drew lands. Let's see. Offspring's Revenge is not great. It does get us some things, like blockers for this stuff, but it's also going to make our lot with Giant a lot worse. Might as well look. If we can get like a big stream of Mire Tritons and the Gorgons, then we might be able to fill up our graveyard before we lose. But I'm not holding my breath. We're just chumping with this one, so we'll pull out the Stinger. If we get a Cycler, then we can pull out the Valiant Rescuer and start cycling with it. Trample and haste. This guy has trample as well, right? So we're just taking 4 from him. I think that's lethal. I'm actually gonna make a slight change to this deck. I'm gonna throw these Plague Crafters back in. We'll take out... I don't really want to take out the Revelers. Maybe the Mire Tritons. They haven't done a lot for me. So the Plague Crafters are pretty nice. They force the opponent to sack a creature, but then you can also pull them back out with the Offspring's Revenge to make them sack another creature. I think maybe I was incorrect to take them out. You want to Crux of me? Oh. I wouldn't mind discarding this Lotleth Giant. Oops, let's just go ahead and put the Mire Triton out. Okay, I needed those. That's cool. Oh, sweet, we got another one. I'm just gonna attack. I think we'll be able to play the Savai Triome and the Mire Triton. I don't think we need a Plague Crafter. Cool. Okay, so now that we're getting to the point where we can Offspring's Revenge some useful creatures, I can pull out the Rixmati Reveler, which will toss the Lotleth Giant from my hand into my discard pile, which is kind of where I want to be. So let's swing with the Mire Triton. Nothing, no funny business this time. I could play the Plague Crafter right now to make him sack a creature, or to discard a card. I don't think I want to do that. We'll just leave this. Kind of surprised he didn't have a Godzilla to cycle there. Alright. Just go for it. Play an Offspring's Revenge. We'll bring back the Mire Triton. I want to mill some stuff. I'm not ready to discard the lot left yet. And now I've got tokens, so even if he plays like two big things, I can go Plague Crafter, sack the Plague Crafter, Offspring's Revenge, sack again. Alright, so we want to get rid of that Rixmati. Or get the Rixmati back to dump the Lotleth. Let's see. So I could double Offspring's Revenge. It would empty out my discard, which I'm not sure I want right now. I'm just going to go to combat. We'll get the Rixmati. Maybe next turn we'll Offspring's Revenge. Let's discard this. We'll attack. We didn't have a cycle creature. I'll go ahead and cast this. Oh, okay. He's given up. Alright, we got our one victory. It was a hollow, meaningless victory where our opponent played 2 cards. But I'll take it, because this deck's pretty bad. I did like the feel of those Plague Crafters back, though. I'm glad I put those back in. They don't cycle, but I think I'm overvaluing the cycling here. I mean, they kind of cycle. You play them for 3 and they sack a creature. It doesn't draw you a card, but it puts the guy right in the discard pile. Alright, so we got some play here. Plague Crafters can sacrifice my tokens from the Stinger, cycling. I need some lands is what I really, really want. Dawn of Hope. Well, we might snipe some, well, if we get more land, we might snipe some of Johnny's Pride mates. That's fun. I always like seeing decks run Mire Tritons. It looks like this is a tokens deck rather than Pride Mate. We did get a land, so I can Plague Crafter to force my way in for 3 damage. I don't think that's the best play, though. I'm just going to play my own Mire Triton. And we'll cycle the Stinger on his turn. Trading my Rescuer for his Mire Triton's not worth, definitely not worth anything. Alright, so we're playing an attrition game that I don't really want to get into here. We'll just take that damage. Oh, that was a mistake. That was a big mistake. However, we got a lot of cycling nonsense now, so that's nice. Let's see if he trades any of this. Yeah, I didn't expect him to. We'll cycle the Rescuer just to be mana efficient. So these Plague Crafters look okay. I need to get rid of the Loris somehow, though. Might be my chance. This is what I should have done last turn, is trade off his Mire Triton. He can replay it this turn, so it's not great. That'll gain him some life. Lava Brink. Okay. Well, let's cycle. See what he chooses. I'm probably gonna Murderous Rider this Lurrus. So he's prot these two. He's prot my whole board. Okay. That's nice. We're gonna kill Lurrus, and I hope that he doesn't have another one in his hand. If he does, I've kind of just wasted my turn. I bet he does. Charming Prince. Okay. You can draw a card off of the life gain here. I'm very fine with that if that's what he does. Alright, so we can't block that. That's fine. We can attack pretty well now, though. If he trades off with anything, then we can Plaguecrafter his Venture and we'll be in good shape. So let us first cycle, just to see what's going on. Rixmati. So I didn't talk about this, but the Spectacle for this discards your whole hand and draws 3 cards, which is great, except right now I've got a lot of good cards. So let's try and empty our hand. Cool. Block I was hoping for. We'll just ditch one of these. It's got a lot of life gain, so it's hard for us to chip away enough, but the board is in our favor. I'm trying to think if now is a good time to Rixmati, and I kind of think it is. Or I can just play the Murderous Rider. Yeah, I think this is probably better. Let's get in for more damage. Those Charming Princes are a draw engine for him. He's kind of treading water here, but he is getting some card advantage at the same time. Fortunately, I don't think we really care about the card advantage, because we can do this. That's suspicious. Yeah, okay. That looks more correct. Alright, so I'm gonna just play out the Stranath Stinger first, and then Spectacle. Just checking my mana. Yeah, okay. Oh, Spectacle. Discard both of these, because I don't want them in my hand, although we're actually pretty much at the point where we could hardcast them. But the goal is to put them in the discard for reasons, for Offspring reasons. Okay, so we're about to lose everything but Murderous Rider. Do I want to save my Flourishing Fox and Stinger then? No. Take a damage. We'll get another card. We've got Castle Lochwain in our land section, so it is sad that they all went to exile instead of anywhere else. I'm gonna cycle in case we can get a an Offspring's Revenge off of it. Just gonna swing, and then we will. Yeah, I think just playing out as much of our hand as possible is the right call here. As soon as our hand's empty, we can Castle Lochwain efficiently. Oh, there's one of our Offspring's Revenges. It's alright, we got 3 more in the deck somewhere. It's about 1 in 10 chance of drawing it each draw. Alright, no extinction event. Good. Is this his 4th Charming Prince? He's done this 4 times. It's card efficient, but he's really falling behind on the board if he draws from it. Okay, so he's got a Lava Brink Venture now too. Even's the best choice for that venture, it looks like. Yeah, now I don't have a good attack. Rescuer doesn't do anything to help against the venture. Trying to decide if I want to cycle this Triome. Yeah, I think this is the most efficient. Now if I attack here, he can block there and take 2 damage and kill my Hierophant. Yeah, this seems bad. Let's just build our board up some more. So he's got some Death Touchy. Looks like he's stabilizing, which is not good because he does have his card draw engine now with the Dawn of Hope. Just means we need to dig a bit. You're gonna swing? You can get in for 3 pretty safely here. So we'll cycle, we'll get a 1/1. Got a lands, got another lands. Alright, so we'll get a lands. No attacks. I think we can chill. If he gets a Cruel Celebrant, we'll be in trouble. But we're not there yet. Oh. Sudden Liliana. Alright. We're both sacking 2 creatures, and we're making zombies.
Putrid, but effective.
Let's see. We can play this. This leaves us with 1, 2... Yeah, this still gives us a card draw. I don't know if I really want to make him sack stuff right now, though. Let's, let me draw first. Rick's Mod. Let me just play Rick's Mahdi without Spectacle. We'll discard our lands. We'll draw a Hierophant. Sure. Go ahead and play it. He'll get his card draw from it. I want to get cards out of my hand, though, so it doesn't hurt too much to draw a Castle Locthwain. No attacks. We gotta hurry, but Lotweth is lethal, so as soon as we land an Offspring's Revenge, we'll win. Assuming he doesn't gain too much life in between now and then. I think I'm okay trading my Murderous Rider here. Might have been a bad idea to give him the card draw, but we'll see.
I'll find a use for you later.
More Enforcer. Not surprised. Gotta sack creatures.
I do love a good death wail.
I think I would have gotten rid of this token personally for the flying.
Waste not very much from your death.
But at least we're not on ultimate range anymore. Yeah, you can have my Hierophant. Alright, is this the card draw? Ooh, that's pretty good. Murderous Rider. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sources of black. Counting this, I'll still have enough to Murderous Rider. Yeah. Let me see what else we can get. A land. I think we need to get rid of General Kudrow here. He represents a lot of damage. You get nothing. I mean, so does Liliana, but we'll see. If he -4s, I'll go down to just my Mire Triton left, and he'll have... I don't know what he would give up. Probably the spirits based on what he's sacrificed in the past. Alright, we'll take 5. You can't -4.
Good, mindless min.
Alright. Hilarious. Well... I don't think we can survive. This is 5, and he can swing for 3. Oh, he didn't activate Liliana first. Alright, well, let's see if he has a pump spell. Had he activated Liliana, he would have had... Oh, 2 attackers. Okay. Yep. That's definitely what I want. No more agonizing remorse. Not a third one, please. Okay. Zombies.
Rise.
Did we do it? Hooray! The reach of Lawless Giant. Oh. Well, the good news is our graveyard was pretty sweet if we had drawn that Offspring's Revenge. We would have been doing pretty well. But we managed to get the Giant in the end. I think I did make the big mistake by discarding those 7 drops when I was already on 6 mana. Ooh, we do have the Reveler to help us filter. Alright, we've got some chances to draw land. Playing against Lurrus. Lurrus is a pretty good matchup against us. It's not good times for us. Their ability to play effective, like efficient removal to kill off all of our small stuff means they can usually pressure attacks on us pretty well. Good news is we have something to discard to Rixmati. Alright. I don't know how important it is to play Crafter this Paradise Druid right now. I want to save the Rider for... I've got 2 Riders now. I want to save one of them for the Lurrus. But Paradise Druid is a dangerous card. Sometimes they just load it up with, like, all of the glitters. This could be like an all that glitters enchantment based deck. If they do, though, right now, Plaguecrafter is still a great card against them. Okay, well now it's not. Now it's bad. Turns out it is one of those decks. He obviously doesn't care because Lurrus is a card. Let's see. So next turn what he wants to do is play a land, Lurrus, and then replay Sentinel's Eyes onto his Paradise Druid. So I think best bet is just to shut that down. He can slowly get the Paradise Druids back too, but if he goes Lurrus right now, we can just murder it. need to draw some mana, though. I can't afford to be cycling Valiant Rescuer right now. I don't have the mana for it. Oh. Alright, well that's bad. I mean, it's workable. We did draw our mana. Oh, no, I messed up. Now he just replays the Ghost Form on Loris. That's my mistake. But we've stalled out into the mid-game pretty effectively. We haven't died yet. So if we draw the right cards, we can just still continue with our game plan. And I think that's our goal, is to just engage with him. Alright. So typically these also run Deadweight or Mire's Grasp, which makes playing cards right now very difficult. I can Murderous Rider his Hateful Eidolon. He'll just get it right back. I'm gonna cycle the Rescuer. There's the Revenge, that's nice. Alright, so I expect this will probably just die, and then he'll put the Sentinel on the Loris and swing in for a lot. Doesn't get a card this time though. Oh, this guy. Oh, it's got Death Touch. Cool. So we'll just replay the Eidolon, it looks like. I guess he could escape the Sentinel's Eyes as well. Maybe he'll just go for the Paradise Druid. He's got time. He can just afford to start Voltroning up over here. Well, he's gaining a lot of life off of Loris, which is bad. However, this will... Oh. That's pretty good. This sets him back pretty far, but not far enough. I think Mire Triton... No, I should have gone with the automatic sacrifice. No blocks. He'll have to replay Warbriar Blessing. Good news though is next turn I may be able to get rid of the Loris if he doesn't play creatures. If he replays his Warbriar Blessing, we fight. Oh, that's not even good. It depends on what he has in his hand. But yeah, if he doesn't play out another creature this turn, seems unlikely, but if he doesn't, then I can pull up the Plague Crafter. Oh, I think he should have gotten the Offspring's Revenge. But I'm probably losing this game, so what do I know? But yeah, you could pull up the Plague Crafter and Murderous Rider the Loris when it comes back, and then there will be no more recursion. Okay, well if you had 2 more pieces of removal, seems really good. Alright, so I've got Flourishing Fox. I can go that with the Venomous Hierophant. By that I mean cycle it, because I need to get to another Plague Crafter and another land. The Offspring's Revenge will go far. But I think we lost the opportunity, the window of opportunity to get rid of this Loris. In the meantime, he keeps gaining life, which puts him way out of range of any Lotleth Troll shenanigans. Lotleth Giant. But, I mean, if we can get an engine going, we might be able to empty his hand. That seems really good. Since it's a new creature, it lets him cast another card. That seems nice. Yeah. Okay. Well. He's got a lot of cards now. We'll just go with another one. We'll go with Venomous Hierophant. It's still got Death Touch, but he's probably just going to keep doing the Warbriar's Blessing on it, even until he finds another Despark or Mortify. It's pretty hard to deal with. Now that he's got the Eidolons out, I don't have the opportunity to play Craft with Murderous Rider. He's looking for that Despark. You have Sentinel? Yeah, I think that's lethal if he sees it. Alright, yeah. Okay. Close. Just didn't have the mana. I want to go... I think we'll just do one more game. Finish this up. And then I'll go back to the deck and we'll look at a couple options for different Reanimator targets. Because you can change up how the deck's built pretty substantially. Okay. We've got the core of this here. Oops. Well, I guess we can start cycling. I guess, play the Stinger instead. I'm just gonna cycle. If this is a Winota deck, then we're gonna need not big creatures, but just to be really efficient with what we're doing. These Hierophants are not really what I'm looking for, but if we draw 2 lands, then it might be okay. Yeah, War Boss is good. We got the land. Alright. It's not gonna help though if he just plays a land in Winota's. Alright, we got another War Boss. I'll see your War Boss and play another Hierophant, I guess. Play Crafters are not gonna help us here. Oh, okay. Seems good. Alright. I don't know if I can afford to take this Shrine damage. I'm looking at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I'll play the Mario Triton for the life gain. Kinda needed to flip up a Drakuseth though. I think that's the only thing that would help stabilize me against all this. Another war boss. I think that means I'll just lose. Yeah, not enough interaction with this deck to deal with all this. Triple war boss is kind of ridiculous. Alright. So it wasn't Winota, it was just, oh, maybe it was, but we didn't see it. It was just Legion war bosses with combat spells. That's almost what we needed. Let's see, is there anything that can be done here? I can get 2 health back. That's pretty much, yeah. 2 health will be enough. You could, against something like this, you could theoretically sideboard, like, Suffocating Fumes, or... I'd just go with Cry, I think, but I wouldn't put in the main deck for this deck. It hurts us, too. Alright. So... this deck's not bad at making tokens, so one of the options that I was looking at was Harmonious Archon. It makes you a small army when it comes in, and it's still a flying 1/1, but it gives you 2 3/3s. So it's a nice little stabilizer and buffs the rest of your army. If you've got a Flourishing Fox, like any of our small guys turn into 3/3s, which is nice. I've been trying out Perforos. I think I like Rick's Mighty Reveler better, but this is a backup with Offspring's Revenge. If you can't get the Revenge, you can play Perforos instead, and it'll do the same basic effect as sneak attack something big in. You still get the Lotleth Giant triggers. Drakuseth gets to attack right away for 7 in the air, so that's pretty strong, but you have to play it turn 5 and then untap with it to do anything, or play it for 8 mana, which is kind of defeats the whole purpose of this. When I was playing it, I put it in the spot of the Rick's Mighty Reveler because you wanted to have these guys in your hand instead. So the solution to having big guys in your hand was either Perforos or Rick's Mighty to discard them. So it kind of fills the same slot. You can try out whichever you prefer, but I think Perforos was too slow. Rick's Mighty is much better at playing in the early phase of the game. Splendor Mare is good against stuff like what we saw just now, where they're too aggressive for us. You can still cycle it if you want, but it's a 3/3 lifelinker that just helps stabilize. Not any good for reanimation, but it's something that'll help send the opponent away. They won't want to attack into it if they can't defeat it. Whisper Squad's a good option for filling up your graveyard, because they will keep finding more of themselves, and as you chump block with them, they will just go to the discard and sit there. So they'll make your Lotless Giants bigger. They're also good for sacking to Plague Crafter and such, so you might do like Whisper Squad plus Harmonious Archon sort of combination. And then Go for Blood is... my thoughts for this was it's good against flying decks. We typically have a good number of Death Touchers between the Mire Tritons and the Hierophants. This will let you shoot those down. It's also cycling if you need to dig, but it's an option that'll help you deal with creatures that are normally out of your reach. I don't think any of it's really enough to save this deck, though. It's kind of a mess. Like I said at the beginning, with a beginning like this, you probably just want to be playing Zenith Flare instead. It's going to do a lot better than Offspring's Revenge will. So it's probably what you want to do. I haven't found a good way to reliably dig for Offspring's Revenge yet. And it just doesn't have enough ways to interfere with the opponent, so we end up losing to stuff like All That Glitters or the Zoloris combos. It's just not versatile enough to stand up to actual decks. So it's just kind of a fun thing if you want to try and Offspring's Revenge Drakuseth into play. It's fun when it happens. We didn't see it happen once this game with Drakuseth, but we did get a lot with Giant for lethal. Though not off of the Revenge. don't know if we actually got pretty much any value off of this Revenge overall. Would have been just better as like a easy prey or something. What can you do? But that's the deck for this week. Next week I'm looking at either making a really, really dumb combo deck a friend was telling me about, or putting together a really dumb blue-black Escape Protocols kind of lock deck. It depends on how good the blue-black deck is. If it's bad, then we'll go real bad and go with this other combo. It's an incredible combo, but it's I don't think it's viable for standard play. So we'll see what I can do with it. If it works once, I'll show it to you guys. But yeah, expect a blue-black something or other next week, and we'll have a draft up again like usual. So we'll see you then.